not making me happy.
Oh, this is great.
Alright. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Guys, I am really sorry. Okay. Guys, I am really sorry about this. We're hanging out in the garage because my son's sick. He's got the vid, and I'm trying to fix my shop, which has a steel roof on it, that will get reception. So I keep going in and out. So I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm going to do here. You know what? Maybe this door here, we can do this on this door. Let's try it, see what happens. I'm getting a little frustrated. I'm not a tech guy to begin with. And then, whenever this happens, it really gets me going. So, alright, let's see if this is going to work or not. Alright. Let me know if you guys can see me, hear me. Tell me if I'm just talking to myself. Thank you, Luke. You are awesome. Ah, good golly molly. So, why are you upside down? All right, good. So it sounds like it appears to me from the comments I'm getting that we are live finally. Get over here, Luke. So tonight I got my nephew Luke, my son Brandon. He's sick. He's got the vid, and so he's a little under the weather. He's been sick about a week, and he is starting to feel better. He said, but that stuff is tough to get rid of. And but anyhow, so what we're going to do is Luke's hanging out with me tonight, my nephew. He's part of the DCI team, and he's here to share his combination on his car tonight. So hopefully you remember all the specs of your engine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Luke. So let me tell you a story first of all about Trans Am. So how old were you when we went and picked the car up at Brandon's?
14, maybe?
That's what I'm thinking. You
I
were
think
like
about 14.
Yeah. So anyhow, my son had inherited a 77 Trans Am from my son-in-law. My son-in-law bought that when he was 16. And I went with him to buy that. So anyways, and I don't know if this thing's blocking everybody's view or if that's just me that can't
It's
see.
just you.
Okay, cool. So they can see me and you together.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, so anyway, so my son was moving. He bought a new house, and how my son inherited the 77 Trans Am was my son-in-law, who purchased the thing at he was 16 years old. He moved to Tennessee, and when he did, with my daughter, they had to find places to keep some of the stuff that they had here in Ohio. And my son said, okay, bring it over to my house, you can store it over there. Well, Andrew, my son-in-law, had kind of lost interest in the car. And so my son said, well, I'll take it. You know, it's a cool car. I like Trans Ams. Well, life happened for my son, and he didn't have the money, and he couldn't get the car done. So when he moved out to where he lives now, Luke and we went over with the car trailer because my son was going to scrap the car. And I said, no, we're not doing that. Mm-mm. I said, that's a family heirloom. We're keeping it. And my son-in-law got it. You ended up with it. Now Luke's going to end up with it. Well, at the time, I didn't know Luke was going to end up with it. So what happened was Luke, I mean, Luke is a 100% DCI Motorsports. I mean, he eats, sleeps, and drinks this place. He's been playing here since he's 2 years old. Mm-hmm. And so he's very into this big time. So anyhow, him and I were, because my son was busy, he wasn't even home when we went and bought the car, or picked up the car. And
at the end. Huh? Yeah, he should have at the end after we got it on the trailer, I think.
I don't think he did.
Are you sure? All I remember was when we went and got
We were fighting his neighbor, remember? His neighbor came over?
Maybe.
That's what happened.
Maybe.
The neighbor came over, and the neighbor was kind of being a jerk. And so it's just me and Luke there.
He shoved the car up on the trailer all by himself. I'm just going to point that out. I was steering. He shoved it onto the trailer by himself.
Well, I had to. There was nobody around.
it was kind of impressive.
So yeah, I ended up pushing the car up on the trailer and steered. And but anyway, we went and picked that car up, and I seen the glimmer in Luke's eye. I had that same glimmer when I was his age, and I knew at that point in time that Luke was going to end up with that car. Luke didn't know it at the time, but I knew that was what was going to happen.
When we brought it back to the shop, before he told me it was going to become mine, I started calling it my car.
He
I was
did.
trying to convince my dad to buy it.
The thing of it is with Luke, though, that everything Uncle Don and Aunt Cindy own is his. So, he's as bad as my son.
Me and your son got dibs on that barn.
Yeah, I got a barn full of Pontiac parts. I got cars sitting all around here, and him and my son, they're trying to find out when I die.
You're the one who put those stipulations.
Yeah, no, you're not going to get it till I die.
Well.
So anyway, Luke, he ended up with the Trans Am, and so how I did it, because I wanted Luke to learn how to work on cars, and he wanted to learn how to work on cars. It wasn't like just me trying to get this done. Luke decided that he was going to work here at the shop, and he actually worked here from 14 to 17. I don't know. You might have worked here from 14 to 18.
I was here from. I know.
Yeah, he worked off that car for almost 2 years, and the stuff that he wanted for that car, and so he actually physically worked for his car and paid for it by putting his dues in here. And what I would do is every day after he'd get out of school, I'd go up and pick him up and bring him out here to the shop, and I'd take him home at night, and we did that for almost 2 years. So Luke has worked his tail off for this car, and the car's not great to look at, but it's clean. It's not rusty.
Yeah.
I mean, the floorboards have been replaced in
it. That's a whole different story.
Well, that's another story, and we'll talk about that story another day. But anyway, so Luke, worked this car off, worked off the engine parts, and so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Luke take over the story from here, and he can tell you about what he was thinking whenever he was gathering his engine parts and stuff. Because I remember my barn is like a swap meet.
Yeah, it's full of good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know where to start. I remember, I think, did we build that engine for that car before we had the car? Or didn't I have an engine before I had a car or something like that? Or did we start? We might have started shortly after.
What's that?
The engine that's in my car.
Yeah, so you started gathering parts. There was stuff that was coming in my shop that I wasn't going to use.
Yeah.
But it was good stuff for Luke, and
Like 7K3 heads.
Yeah, 7K3 head, which is 72-400 head, and I don't remember. Oh, you bought the engine from one of my customers.
Well, I bought that engine, and it was what's the leak casting from 77?
Yeah, it was a 557 one.
Yeah, I ended up selling that for like twice of what I paid for it, which was cool.
Yeah.
But
so you started making money right away, like all those outriders do.
But what happened was, so my dad has the 62 Catalina that Don shows every now and again, and we were gonna build a 400 for it, and then he stumbled upon that 428 from Joe Camp that you inherited.
Right.
So he bought that because it was a complete race engine, and he didn't have to piece together. Everything was there. So he bought that, and I ended up just acquiring the 400 my dad bought. I think it's like 71 or something like that. It's a good block.
So where'd you guys get the 71 400 at? You guys went somewhere to get that.
He went and got it, not me.
Oh, okay.
Some guy, I don't know.
Yeah, so his dad, which is my brother, Paul, he went and picked up a 400 because I sold him a 62 Catalina that I had that I bought from one of my customers. His name is Joe Camp. And that's why he keeps saying Joe Camp. Yeah, so the cool part about everybody that kind of works at DCI, we're all family, you know what I mean, except for a couple people here. And so because of that, Luke's been around for a long time, and his mom and dad have been around a long time, and they know all my customers kind of personally, so which is really cool. And but anyhow, so he and my brother ended up with my '62 Catalina from Joe Camp, which is a really badass hot rod. It looks like an old Super Duty car.
Sweet car.
It looks like an old AFX race car is what it looks like. And so anyhow, Luke, so what'd you do with that 400? I don't remember how you started on the 400 thing.
I remember I got it, and then I cleaned it up, and we cleaned it up, and then we sent it off to machining before we had any ideas. We had the block and the crank, so we sent it off for machining. I remember it needed sleeves and 2 cylinders.
It did?
Yeah.
Oh wow,
I think
I
it
don't
needed
remember
sleeves.
that. Okay.
It needed a few sleeves, and then once we got it back, we were indecisive about resizing factory rods and using Eagle rods, because to resize them was the same price as to buy a whole set of forged Eagle rods, like H-beam rods. So we did that, and then I acquired pistons off of Brandon. I bought for like $200 or something like that.
Yeah,
some forged pistons.
some TRW or Speed Pro forged pistons.
Yep.
So you had Eagle forged rods, and you got Eagle or TRW or Speed Pro pistons,
Yep.
which are a pretty heavy piston. But they're robust and they're not going to break, so it's a great piston for a street car.
It's a weird size though. They were 40 over, not like the standard 30. It was
That's
a weird
why I put
size.
in the thing here is you had a 408 cubic inch. Usually it's a 406.
Yeah, it's like it's a weird, yeah.
It's almost 409 maybe. It's
It's a 409 in the Trans Am.
Yeah, right. Like a Chevy engine.
I remember, so we got those. We had it machined 40 over. And we got it back, and we were looking for a cylinder head, and you're like, hey, I got some 7K3s laying around. And I didn't know any better. I was like, sweet, cool. They don't have the outside exhaust port bolt holes. And
Yeah.
I tried finding a fix for them. I tried all sorts of things, making something that connects to the head that I bolted up to, welding onto it, nothing. So I just have one heck of an exhaust leak right now on those outside cylinders.
I thought you came up with some L brackets and you bolted onto the end bolt.
I came up with some blocks, but I have to revisit them because they weren't clearing like my power steering pump up front and stuff. So I know there's a company that sells L brackets, but they're like really thin sheet metal. I can only see them bending.
Yeah, what you did was way better.
Yeah,
So,
it's a big.
He
thick
first
block
tried
of
to,
wood.
first of all, so the 7K3 heads, they don't have the end bolt hole. Why Pontiac did that, I have no idea. And even worse than that, they didn't even put the flange area there, so you don't have anywhere to drill and even to tap. So there's nothing you can do with them. It's like a 1 year only head. The only year was that year, and they did that. So anyhow, Luke, I gave the heads to him because because we can't use them because of the header problem, and I can't sell those for the customer and then deal with that. So, and Luke says, I don't care, I want heads.
They were free heads. I mean, I ain't gonna complain.
And they had good parts in them too. They actually had 7/16 rocker studs and
Yeah, they ordered converted, I think.
I think that they were already 211, 177. I think they had stainless valves, didn't they?
No, you ended up getting me. I ended up finding a set of stainless valves. You had a set left over, but they had like the whole. They've been machined. They had, I mean, whether it's a good thing or not, they had the knurled valve guides for the oil.
Yeah, they had
or
new
whatever.
guides, and all the guides were machined for positive seals.
Yep.
And all the spring heights were set and everything on those heads, so they were a nice set of heads.
They were.
It just sucked that they didn't have the end bolt holes. And so Luke ended up with those. And then what? You just kept proving parts, and then your dad and mom started helping with the project.
Yeah. So I remember my mom has a video from years ago. It's on Facebook. I promise you. Look it up, Dina Johnston. It's on her Facebook. From years ago, there's a video of me opening a cam kit on Christmas. I think at that time it was like 15. What 15-year-old gets a Comp Cam's cam kit for Christmas? Me.
Right.
You could see me in the video. I'm hugging the thing.
Yeah, he has been been accumulating parts for 2 years for that car to get that project completed.
Yep.
So and he stuck with it. I mean, he was determined, and it shows. And I tell you what, whenever he shares the results with you guys, I mean, you're going to be impressed.
So, yeah, we got the camshaft kit, and then we got the cam kit, we got that all sorted out. We figured out the lifters. Moved on to the cam kit came with valve springs. I think we had to get different. The cam kit came with push rods. I think we had to get. Oh, I forgot. We had to mill the crap out of those heads. They had something like 110cc chamber from factory, so we had to.
And they're a 400 head.
We had to mill the crap out of those things, and I think we took off. We took off.
I think we probably.
Material.
I think we took 100 thousandths off those heads.
Yeah, something like that.
To get the compression up to 9.5 to 1.
Not even. No, it's 9.1 to 1.
Oh, so it's not even 9.5 to 1. It's only 9.1 to 1 compression on this 400. Mm-hmm. Now remember, this is only a 40 over 400 with stock strokes. You got a factory cast crank in it.
Yep.
And
Factory 2-bolt mains. Factory main bolts.
Yeah, you didn't even put studs in it. And so the bores are what, 190? Or no, it's 112 plus, so 4.160 is what the bore is.
Yeah.
And it's got a 3.75 inch stroke. And it's still got the Pontiac rod journals and main journals too. So they're 250 and 3-inch mains.
I think they might be 10. I don't know if we got that crank ground.
Yeah, you got it grounded. I remember grounding it.
Yeah, so it's probably around 10. Either way.
Yeah, so it's ground 10. So it's got a 10 over bearing in it. But yeah, so then, so you accumulated the heads, you got the camshaft. So what happened was, is his dad and mom got him a flat tappet, hydraulic flat tappet cam.
And at the time every flat tappet cam kit they were at least Don was getting, you would put them in, you'd put it in and you'd run the 20 minutes or whatever with only the outside spring, and they would wipe the cams out because we come to find out, was it the machine?
Yeah, the lifters are coming out of China and they weren't convex and round.
Yeah, they weren't machine right.
Yeah, so they were actually kind of elliptical shape, kind of a pattern on it. And what that does is it doesn't allow the flat tappet lifter has to rotate in the lifter board. If it doesn't, then it will wipe a load right off the camshaft. And so at that time, that was just starting to happen. So you were, what, probably 16, so
Something like that.
you're 19 now, or 18?
18, about to be 19.
So 2 years ago, so this was during all the bullshit we were going through with the vid, and we're starting, and it's when the Chinese were really hammering us with parts that were bad.
It was awful.
It was
I
terrible.
remember.
The last 5 years have been rough.
I remember getting into some conversations about I was trading you for that camshaft, which I think we ended up using that camshaft in something, I think.
I don't know if we used it yet. I think I still have it.
Maybe.
Yeah, I did get some lifters ground
Yes.
for it, but I haven't used it yet. So, but yeah, so what you can do to fix it is you can take the Comp Cam's lifters. I don't know where they're buying them from. It used to be there's only 2 lifter manufacturers in the world at one time. Now, the Chinese that are pouring the market with that. So, now they're not made in the United States anymore.
Phil the Third said, "Hey, I noticed Don isn't reading any of these, so say whatever you want."
You know what, Phil? I don't have my glasses on, so you can call me whatever you want to call me. I don't care. And I'm relying on Luke's eyeballs.
I remember seeing it earlier.
We're looking at my little bitty phone.
Yeah, I remember seeing it earlier. Jamie said Brandon was there at the very end to put that the car in the trailer.
Oh, was he?
Jamie commented.
Okay, good.
She also called me Lukey Dookie.
So my son and Jamie are watching tonight, which is awesome.
Yes.
But anyways, so he got a hydraulic flat tappet cam for Christmas, which is pretty freaking cool.
Yes.
I watch my language. Pretty cool that a 15-year-old kid gets that. And so that was pretty awesome. And you got some other stuff too. Your mom and dad treated you good that year.
The whole cam kit came with cam lifters, a timing chain, seals, push rods, valve springs, locks, retainers.
Yeah.
It came with the whole 9 yards of things.
Yeah.
We used the push rods. I didn't see as if maybe if we were to use the flat. No, it wouldn't have. The push rods we didn't use because we machined the heads so much, and we used the
We
roller
couldn't use the
lifter.
push rod because they were too long.
Yeah. Oh, and it was either next Christmas or that Christmas. Another Christmas, I got rocker arms for it. They're just stamped steel comp rocker arms with a roller tip on them.
Yeah, they're actually cast. They're not stamped, but yes.
Oh, they're cast?
Yeah, they're cast.
Okay.
So yeah, he's got cast roller tip rockers, which are nothing trick. I mean,
They're-
he's got a ball in it instead of a full trunnion.
They're adjustable. they're not like the standard crimp nuts. I actually put the poly
Yeah,
locks
so he
on
put a
them.
poly lock on it so you can adjust it properly.
Yes.
Not like a Chevy engine where you just crank it down and hope it stays.
Yeah. When I first ran the engine, I had the regular crimp nuts on it, brand new ones from Comp Cams, brand spanking new, and they kept coming loose. I'd run on the stand, within 5 minutes they were coming loose.
I remember that, yeah. Yep. So Luke learned a lot, while he was building this engine for his car because of stuff like that happening to him. So, while he's working off his car, he's learning too, which is incredible. I mean, you know what? That education that he got here, working on his own stuff and working on customer stuff, I wouldn't give him anything that was real complicated back then. But I started to at the end because Luke is getting sharp. I tell you what, this kid's only 18 years old and he's on it, guys. I can have him build short blocks now. I'm getting him to the point where he don't like to port heads, but we'll get him there.
It's a tedious thing.
So porting heads, speaking of porting heads, what did we do with that? What happened? I showed him how to port his heads, and I wanted him to do this.
He showed me how to port heads, and I started porting my heads, and I was actually doing pretty good on them. I was doing good until I went a little far on one, and right in the top bowl of the intake port on one, I blew right through. I made a gigantic hole in that port, and I was like, "Oh no!"
So he freaked out.
Yeah, I was scared.
And at that point in time, he was done porting his heads. He didn't want to touch them anymore. And so I helped him with them. I still made him finish them up because I wanted him to learn. And but because we got this wonderful product now that we stumbled onto, it's called Belzona 1111. He was actually able to repair his head, and they're still on the car. He runs them still.
Yeah, I beat the hell out of that thing. It still runs. It takes it every single time.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you're gonna have to read the comments because I can't read them. And these guys are commenting like crazy, and Phil's probably picking on me.
He said at 18 he moved on to Oldsmobiles.
What?
Someone,
I disown you, Phil.
Timmer's calling you a great instructor. Hey, I'm working on your engine soon, Timmer.
Yeah, we just pulled it out. We're getting ready to paint it, and so you're on the schedule.
Someone had an Oldsmobile in high school. Not a whole lot, but
All right. So anyhow, so Luke went through the port on one port. He only did one.
yes.
And so the reason that happened was is because what I told him, and he was following instruction just like I told him, so it's
Make
kind of
it
my fault,
round.
not his. Make the bowl round. Well, he didn't realize I didn't mean round clear down to the guide.
I made it rounder. I wanted a shape.
He was making it round, but you got to realize that you got a taper in the back of the bowl, and what happened was that taper he blew through because he's trying to make it round like Uncle Don told him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it got around all right.
Right, so
Water meth injection.
So thankfully he learned on his heads.
Yep.
Not a customer's. But then you got them all done.
Got
You
those
did
done.
you did your own competition valve job, so you learned how to use the valve guided seat machine.
I think what's also what I'll tell you, we'll tell you numbers later on what it made on the chassis dyno. Mm-hmm. But I think part of it was we did something weird. I think it was a 30 or 35 degree intake seat on it instead of the standard 45 or whatever the heck it was. We did a more flat intake seat that you said would help with torque, and it helps with torque a lot.
Yeah, it makes a lot of torque. So I think we did use like a 37 degree
Something like
valve
that.
seat. Yeah, something weird. It wasn't 30 and it wasn't 45.
Yeah, it's not our usual, but
No,
I
it's
wanted
not.
to do it. I heard torque and I was like, okay.
Well, the vehicle's heavy. I mean, 77 any of the Trans Ams, later model Trans Ams, everybody thinks those cars are light, but they're not.
They weigh like 3,800 pounds.
Yeah, without a driver.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
They're a big car.
They're beefy. So with a driver in it, they're getting close to 4,000 pounds. And so, you know, I wanted the engine to make a lot of torque because I wanted to make it fun for Luke to drive. You know, it's not about horsepower, it's about torque, and that's what you feel when you're driving them on the street.
Yep.
So he did that, got the competition valve job all straightened out, and he cleaned and assembled all his heads, and he checked all his valve stem heights. I showed him how to use the height mic, and so I mean, he done a great job. I mean, a really good job, and it shows up.
Besides the 7K3 head part, that engine, in all reality, is the typical engine we sell customers. Like, it's a typical street strip engine we sell customers. It's everything down to the T.
He's absolutely right. What he's saying is he built our typical performance street engine is what we call this, okay? And his cam specs are similar. Other than the valve job, the cylinder head's similar. The intake manifold is similar. The compression ratio is close. It's not quite what we do for our customers.
Mine's a little lower.
Yeah, his is a little bit lower. And what else? I mean, pretty much that's it. I mean, we balance the rotating assembly. You use the forged rod and piston in it.
Yep.
And so our street performance engines are typically with stock factory cranks. We don't use a stroker crank in them unless the customer wants it.
Yep.
And we use forged rods and pistons. We do a competition valve job. We use stainless valves. So now the cam thing we'll talk about here in a minute, but we use a double roller timing chain of gears. We port the heads, and we do a competition valve job. We try to get the compression around 9.5 to 9.7.
Yeah.
But we couldn't do that with Luke's because of we were running out of material on the head, and we're probably a little thin now, but it's working.
It works.
It's working.
I'm leaving it alone. It works.
So anyhow, the camshaft. Tell them what happened with the camshaft.
So,
he's slick.
we explained the whole flat tappet thing, so I was worried about that. But then I was like, so the cam kit, it's an okay. I say okay. To most, it's a great cam. To me, I'm like, I like big cams.
Because he's hanging around DCI. He knows what the cams do.
Yes. So the cam that came in the kit was a 224, 230 with a 110. And that was duration at 50. And it would give it a nice little lopey idle. It'd be a nice idle.
Barely.
I wanted more. I wanted something that when you roll into the high school parking lot, and people were like, that sounds really good. So I kept begging and begging and begging and begging Uncle Don to use one of his, I think it's 236, 242 or something like that.
Right.
And
a hydraulic roller.
Yes, I was begging until finally one day.
Which Timmer, by the way, that's what's in your engine.
Yeah. One day he finally gave up and gave in. He's like, you know what, screw it, I'll trade you up for it. You just hear you shut up about it. And so I ended up.
Yeah, he was a kid, so he wouldn't leave me alone. And I am Uncle Don, so he's got a little liberty. So, but you know what? It ended up working out awesome because we got to play with his package, which is what we like he said. This is what we sell our customers. I mean, other than the fact that it's
we have solid roller lifters on a hydraulic roller cam. Typically, we use the Johnsons, but
that's okay because you know what? Some of our customers we do that with too.
Yeah.
So that and there's nothing wrong with using a solid lifter on a hydraulic roller cam. A lot of guys freak out and they think they got to adjust the valves, but how many times do you adjust your valves?
I go through. I check them. I might need to do it soon, so they might be getting a little noisy. But I check them every now and again.
And it's been together for almost 3 years.
So yeah, I change the oil once a year in that car because I don't put that many miles on it. So once a year thing's not a bad idea. Right before the races or right in spring. Every time I change the oil, I look at them and I make sure they're okay, and typically they're always okay.
Because what happens with a solid lifter on a hydraulic profile cam, you got to run a tighter lash, and it actually runs quieter than a hydraulic lifter, guys. And then on top of it, because the ramp is so smooth and soft, you don't have to worry about valve lash.
No.
So we only run like 2,000 lash. That's it.
Yeah, I'm running 0. You told me to set mine at 0.
I did tell you to set them at 0.
And been good so far.
Yep, and it works good because when the engine warms up, it's about 2,000 slash.
Yep.
And you don't hear the lifters quiet. They're actually way quieter than they are with the hydraulic lifter in them. Because the hydraulic lifter is like a cushion, and it's always changing, and you're going to hear those lifters. Where with a solid lifter, it don't change; it stays. And I try to get my customers to do it. If they don't want to do it, okay, I get it. But I'm telling you, that is the way to go. And you'll make more horsepower too.
All you hear over, I mean, you can't hear them. Part of it is because I got the exhaust leaks because of the no outer bolt holes.
Yeah, his exhaust leaks sound like lifters.
Yeah, it kind of freaked me out at first until I went through it. I'm like, well, nothing should be noisy. Oh, it's just the exhaust.
Hey.
Those were some old comps we had laying around. I mean, these things were just in a box in the corner of the show or in the corner of the shop somewhere. That he was like, hey, he uses okay. Some old used ones.
Yeah, some old comp lifters because that was the good ones. The new ones are not any good. I hate saying it. You know what? The new ones are compromised, and they may be improving that. I don't know, but the lifters he has in his engine, I know are good quality because I used to run them all the time in all our customer engines.
Probably older than I am.
They are older than you are. Because I've been in business 45 years. So.
Since the Cretaceous era.
All right. So anyhow, Luke finally won me over, and actually, what I think how that worked out, we pulled your hydraulic cam out because you already had it in the engine, didn't you? Or did you?
No, I don't think I did.
I didn't know if you did or not. Anyhow, he ended up with a hydraulic roller in the engine, and
pretty good.
Yep. And his dad was a little bit against it at first because, you know, and I understand, he was a 16-year-old kid.
Well, and they bought me the cam kit with the cam in, and he didn't experience the failures you were having, so to him, he was like, just run it and see what happens.
Right.
I didn't want to wipe out my engine first go around, so I was like freaking out kind of.
Because he had a lot of time paying this off, you know, he worked 2 years to get all that he wanted. And when you wipe out a lifter on a flat tappet camshaft and it wipes the lobe off of it, usually it'll wipe 1 or 2 off, not just one. Mm-hmm. It turns into real fine particles that end up in the oil pan.
And all your bearings.
And it destroys your bearings. And so that was, you know, and Luke learned that from working here because he's seen it happen to customers.
Yep.
So, and that's why we don't use flat tappet cams anymore. Not until they get the lifter problem straightened out.
Or figure out how to fix them reliably.
Yeah. We did have some lifters reground, and I'm going to try those, but I'm going to try it in one of my engines, not a customer engine.
My dad got lucky with my dad found a set of old Howard solid flat tapping lifters, like old Howard's ones.
He got those off of Troy Wolfstring. I don't know if he's on tonight. Yeah, we were pitting next to him at the Pontiac Nationals, and Troy had a set of solid flat tappet lifters on the table.
That was the same night that we blew up, we wiped out the cam in that 428. It was like the same day.
Yeah.
He was like, you know what, I gotta build an engine anyways. Hey, he's got some lifters.
Well, Luke actually seen them on the table and went over and said, hey, Dad, come look at these. Uh-huh. And Troy only wanted, what, 80 or 90 bucks for them?
They were cheap.
Yeah. And so, and like he was saying, my brother's cam failed in his 428. He had a roller cam in it. It was a pretty nasty roller.
Solid roller.
Yeah. And it had been in there for a few years.
Like 20 years?
Yeah, it was in there for a few years. And so anyhow, he lost a lifter. Fortunately, it didn't hurt the engine, or didn't put any debris in the pan. But my brother ended up buying that lifter from him, and then he bought a cam at Summit.
Nasty flat tappet cam.
Yeah, it's got a big ass flat tappet cam in it. But so Luke gets his hydraulic roller in there now, so now he's shitting in high cotton. I mean, he's loving life because you know what? How many 16-year-old kids do you, well actually it's 15 at the time, how many 15-year-old kids do you know that just built a roller cam, not all forged, but forged rods and piston, ported head, stainless steel valve engine? I mean, I didn't get that until I was like 45.
Yeah.
And he's 15.
I was making out good.
He was doing really, really well. But you know what? I I rewarded him because he was doing so well at the shop. You know, he was coming every day. He didn't complain about everything we had to do. And he was the guy that got all the crap work. I mean, he had to clean all the parts. He had to wire wheel everything. Everybody, all they ever see is they always see the glory and the glitter and all the pretty. Yeah. But you know what? 90% of what we do here is dirty, nasty work. And you've got to work your tail off to get it right. And Uncle Don, which would have been his boss, I will not tolerate if it's dirty. I cannot stand if there's. I go in and I check all the nooks and crannies on the block. I check it on the heads. I check everything. And if it's dirty, they got to scrub it again. It is what it is.
The big difference is I don't see a lot of shops do this. Normally, people throw it in like a wash cabinet. It's like for your dishes, but for engines.
Right.
And they throw it in there and, oh, blow it off. Oh, look, it's clean.
We have one of those.
We don't do that, though. Our final clean, we go in there with shop rags and hot Dawn dish soap water. We physically scrub every nook and cranny of those blocks.
Yes. And you guys seen the pictures of my engine blocks after these guys have scrubbed them. And they do a fantastic, I got a great crew. My crew is freaking awesome.
I always talk about the Johnson lifters.
So, yeah, I can't see your comments, guys, because the screen's so little. I'm using my cell phone tonight.
Philip III's talking about uphill both ways some way. Is that like when you used to go to school uphill
both
ways?
Yeah, we go uphill in the snow or the rain, both ways. That's just the way, that's the story. So Luke did a really good job, and he worked his tail off to get what he wanted. He was goal-oriented, and he worked his tail off to get what he wanted. So, and that was awesome, and I'm proud to be part of that. I'm glad that I was part of that whenever it all happened. So now he gets this engine all together, and now he's got to work on the car.
Hold up, the intake. I remember this. I forget when I went over to his son Brandon, the typical other host of the podcast. I went over to his place for something. I don't know what it was. I went to do something or hang out, and he had his old engine out of his, what year C10 was that?
It was an 84 C10.
He put a Pontiac engine in an 84 C10. Really sweet truck. I loved that thing when I was a kid. He sold it, had the engine out of it. He had an Edelbrock Performer RPM intake, which, not really better than a factory intake. I just went because it looked aluminum, or it looked cool because it was aluminum. It was more racy. And I remember sitting there, I would look at him like, so, what you gonna do with this? I think you're running a different intake, aren't you, in your Firebird, huh? He just kind of looks at me, he goes, maybe. I'm like, what you gonna do with this, huh? He's like, fine, you can have it, just take the thing off. Okay.
So that was his cousin. My son, Brandon, yeah.
And that came home with aluminum intake.
Yeah, this kid's spoiled.
Between
his family, all his family spoils the shit out of him. So he was going to run a factory cast iron intake, which would have been fine.
It would have.
And it still would have ran really well,
yep.
Because we would have ported it. I showed him how to port it. But he ended up with a Performer RPM, and he ended up port matching that to the heads. So that's what he has on the car now. So your combination, what carburetors? Oh, that's right. So talk about the carburetor.
Yeah, so for one, when I was a baby and I was getting potty trained, he potty trained me with a carburetor. I forget what it was.
It was just an old 600 vacuum secondary.
Yeah.
And he was only about a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years old.
Yeah, and it was, hey, if you stop using diapers, toilet, I'll give you this carburetor. I flew into the bathroom. I ran.
He literally did.
I ran.
He wanted a carburetor. So before that, what happened was I offered him, because at that time we had a tube chassis car. I said, Luke, I'll put you in the car and we'll put you in the car seat and we'll do burnouts. Or we'll do a short burst or whatever. Nope, don't want to do that. I said, okay. And then there was something else I offered you too. Aunt said he was trying to help you.
Yeah.
I don't remember. But anyhow, you know how us males are stubborn about going to shit. So he was stubborn like the rest of us. And finally, I told Aunt Cindy, I said, you know what? He loves to work on stuff. Let's see if he wants a carburetor. And so Aunt Cindy offered it to him, and this is no kidding. As soon as she said this to Luke, we were at the campground. He camps across from us. Him and his family camp across from Cindy and I, and we had adjoining decks. Aunt Cindy told him, if you go potty, you can have a carburetor. Boom! I mean, he ran in the bathroom.
I remember sitting on, you had the old white checkered flag little mat on your deck. I remember sitting on the deck that day, taking that thing apart.
Yeah, I brought the carburetor from the shop, and I gave it to him that day after he got done going to the bathroom in the potty, and so we've had a lot of good moments and memories together.
Yeah.
Literally, Luke and I have been together since he was born, just like his mom and dad. You know what I mean? And Aunt Cindy too. I can't discount my wife. We've all been kind of a big giant family at the campground, and it's been awesome. So, and that's why Luke thinks everything I own is his.
Yes, because it is. If you ask Aunt Cindy, yes.
Right.
Sharing is caring.
So, and he's ridden an Aunt Cindy '68 Firebird.
I've driven it. That car's broken down on me 5 different times now.
That's true. And he raced his first car he raced was Aunt Cindy's 06 GTO. So and it ran 1360s. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
That was a really fun car.
Yep.
So Philip, the cookie trick never worked on me. No matter what you see the physique I have now, I wanted a carburetor.
Yeah, he wanted a carburetor, which is pretty cool. How many kids want a carburetor?
Luke, what are the cam specs on power? So the cam specs are a 236, 242 at 50 with a 110. I forget the lift on it.
It's only like 520 lift.
Yeah, it's to us it's mild.
It's very mild.
To most people, that's a hog. That's a 3/4 race cam right there.
He's right.
But
it is not.
It's a good street cam. It sounds good when you're rumbling in. It's not like my dad's car good. It sounds good when you're rumbling in, and it still makes decent power. But it's not like you need a super loose converter or whatever. I have like a 28 converter in there or something like that. 28 to 32 converter. You don't need a super like 4500 converter loose, so you don't have to doing this at the stoplight.
Another thing too is everybody freaks out about stall conversion. They think when you put a stall converter in a car that it's not going to move from the red light until it gets to that RPM.
No,
it don't work that way.
No,
you don't even know you have a converter in the car.
No.
Yeah, the only time you know it's when you stand on it or hammer the throttle.
Like I said, power. We'll get to that later. But where were we? Oh, the carburetor.
Yeah. So the carburetor. Luke is blessed. It seems like everything just falls in his lap, which is awesome.
I couldn't be more thankful. The carburetor. So I don't know where you went, but you came back with some Holley double pumper carburetors, 4150 style carburetors, and what's this? Philip the Third wants to know the CCs on what? The chamber, the ports? Did we even measure the port CCs on those things?
No, we didn't measure the port CCs.
He wants to know the CCs on there in the front head.
On the intake port, I'm not sure what he wants to know, or the combustion chamber.
I don't know.
Combustion chambers are 88 CCs. The intake port, now you got to remember, Phil, you can't go...
Chambers.
Okay, so they're 88 as machined. And then we can go as small as like 46, depending on how much you want to mill off the head, or we can make them as big as like 110 if we soften a chamber for a blower.
Yep, 88 cc's.
Yep. That's the 88 is where I made it so it lands, so I got room to go both directions. Because we made the deck on the head really, really thick, so we can literally take 250 thousandths off my heads.
Very robust heads.
Yeah, the decks are very thick on them. And unless we have a core break, which happened with Doug, I can't never say his last name. I'm going to call him Doug C. But anyhow, we had him on the show, and he actually fixed his heads that we done for him because he owns a machine shop.
So Philip's asking, so 455 should be 10 to 1. Well, it depends. How far is it in the hole? What pistons you got?
Yeah, but keep in mind, Phil, you can use. If you're willing to go through the effort to tune it and do it right, you can use 12-to-1 compression on 93 octane. But you got to be on your game and you got to know what you're doing. And anybody who wants to do that, I'll help them. But don't blame me if it don't work, because it's not the fact that I am not telling you the right thing. You just have to stay after it. It takes a lot of effort.
Yes.
It can work.
And someone asked, what's the ETA on them heads? What heads? The
New ones probably.
no clue.
So you know what? I don't know if Deke's watching me tonight, but thank you, Deke. He is moving along quite well because I reached out to him last week, and which was Thanksgiving week on Monday, or no, maybe it was Tuesday. And I told him that the guys on the podcast are asking about him. And so he shot me a picture of a head update, which on Tuesday afternoon, so I could share with you guys last Wednesday, but because my son was in a goof-off mood, we didn't get to really talk about it. And that's okay, I'm cool with that. But anyways, and Deke just reached out to me again, and he's moving along quite well. He's getting the combustion chamber straightened out. There was a couple things on the tooling that we needed to change, and to get the combustion chamber just the way I wanted it, and get the short turns in the head just the way I wanted them. And then I didn't like some of the exterior features. They weren't factory enough looking for me, and so we're changing some of that too.
So Philip, he said, well, you are 5 heads. He says he knows that, and he would like to push for the 13-to-1.
Okay.
And then Dakota's timeout said, will you help me run high compression 93 octane?
Absolutely. So, maybe we'll do a podcast on that. So when
compression ratio and octane and aluminum heads and how different blocks and head material and this and that and the other affects it.
So you can tell he's been learning a few things around here. So, combustion chamber shape, cylinder head material, camshaft duration, all those things calculate into the fact that you can or cannot run 12 and a half, 13-to-1 compression on pump gas.
There's also something that I just saw. I think it's called rotating compression ratio or something like that. It's different than
Well, now you got static.
Yeah, static
and dynamic.
Dynamic, that's it. It's different than static. I was thinking of dynamic, but there's two different compression ratios.
So static compression ratio is like whenever you do a compression test on your engine, that's static. Dynamic is whenever the engine goes through its RPM range, and the compression ratio actually changes with the RPM range because it can fill the cylinder greater at higher RPM if you have the proper cam timing, or it can fill it lower with the proper cam timing. There's a lot of factors in there.
Yes.
And if you don't have those things figured out, then a 9-to-1 compression engine will detonate on 93 octane if you don't know what you're doing.
Yes. Philip the third said yes. I'm talking static.
Yeah. So static compression ratio is whenever you calculate everything out and you know what your compression ratio is. Dynamic is whenever the engine is running and it varies with the RPMs and cam timing.
So the Dakota's timeout guy said, I've got 74cc KRAD port heads going on a 455 with flat top pistons. I bought a Butler roller camshaft 236 242 with a 114.
I'm not a fan of 114 lobe separation. I don't like wide lobe separation.
They might tell you it's better for the street or it's better on fuel. It doesn't make that much. It really kills your power more than anything. It
hurts your torque.
Yeah, it hurts the fun to drive on the street part more than anything.
You want a tight lobe separation to create more torque in the engine.
Yes.
Which doesn't seem like it should be that way because it kills manifold vacuum. But you got to think about what's going on there, guys. And we've discussed this before. Whenever you got two lobes, okay, so you got an intake and exhaust lobe. With a tight lobe separation, they're real close together. So what happens on the other side here? You got your valves are closed longer, so you build more cylinder pressure. When you widen that up, guess what happens on the other side? You shorten that up. So now you lose torque. You want to keep a tight lobe separation. And there is a limit. You don't want to go too tight, you don't want to go too wide. And it depends on cubic inch too, or stroke of the engine.
Depends on cylinder head. Depends on a lot
There's
of
a
things.
lot of things that go into it. It's not just one size fits all. And so for you to ask me to help you with your 93 octane with the combination you're doing, the first thing I'd tell you to do is change the camshaft. I don't like the cam unit. The next thing I would do is I'd say make sure and calculate your compression ratio, because a lot of guys assume that they have what they think is for compression. And as Luke has learned here, if the piston's 28 thousandths in the hole and your head gasket's not 42 crushed, it's 50, and your combustion chamber is supposed to be 72 cc's and it ends up actually being 80, there's a lot of factors that go into this, guys. And you have to know it. You can't guess. You have to calculate it. And you got to measure it.
The big things with if you have a stock 455 block, it's never been machined in its life, it's a factory 455 block, never been decked, never been nothing. Those pistons could be in the hole all over the place. One corner could be 28, next corner could be 35, other corner could be 15.
Can you hanging around here a bit?
It could be everywhere.
And we see that all the time. You know, the decks aren't square, so one piston on one corner is 28 in the hole, and the other one's 30 or 32, and the other side could be 17 and 15. I mean, we've seen them all over the place.
Don said, or not, Philip the Third said you need to play with making a twin cam overhead something or the other.
Well, Phil, come on up here, and we'll do that. I'm gonna grab a beer real quick.
Will you fund it, Philip? No, right there. Got more questions for you when you come back. Well, now that he's not here, I can tell you guys, I'm gonna steal everything in that barn. And there's solar heads laying around here that will become mine. Philip said he'll be right there.
Phil's getting a beer too. Cool. All right, guys, we're about out of time here, so you know what? This is fun. I had a good time with my nephew. I'm glad that he was hanging out with me tonight. Yeah, so, and he's working here at DCI again, so which is really cool. And I'm happy to have him back. I'm hoping that I can take him to the next level. Luke, you know what? This kid, he's sharp. I'm telling you guys. If I get to spend another couple of years with him, he is going to be like one of the best engine builders in the country, and I'm not exaggerating.
Before we shut off, do you want to tell them the final everything on the car?
Yep. So
all
you
right.
go ahead and give them a rundown, and tell them how it all developed.
So I got the 800 CFM car from Don. He showed up one day. I was like, "Hey, here's a gift for you. Cool, awesome, amazing, love it." 800 CFM Holly double pumper, 4150 style, and I rebuilt that. And which I've been doing the carburetors for a while, but I rebuilt that, got all set for my engine. I went to somewhere and got a 373 gear set for the rear diff of my car, and someone gave me free factory spline but forged axles for that thing. One of my dad's buddies, his name.
Yeah, which is a buddy of mine too. I didn't put two and two together at the time, but I've known him for a long time.
I got free good axles, which is a blessing. Rebuilt the rear differential in that car. I got the shifter.
And he learned all this working here at DCI.
Yes, I was rebuilding differentials.
You were rebuilding rear ends when you were 14 years old.
One of the first ones. But the transmission, I got 350 that has all the good parts in it, and it has like the billet input shaft and the good drums. It has it's a good transmission. It's a really solid transmission. Then the shifter.
Turbo 350.
Yep. The shifter you gave me for my birthday, because I wanted it. I found it in the barn.
Yep. You went through my swap meet.
Yep. Did that. You got me brakes for my birthday or Christmas. You got me the front rotors for that car. And then you might have got me the pads too, or I had to buy the pads. Factory disc brakes and rear drums. I got drums it came off that 65. Yep. And I got a drum shoe kit and spring kit for it. The first time down the track, I broke the rear leaf springs, and I had to get new ones. Literally twisted them almost in pieces. There was one leaf left that was okay.
Yeah. So what happens with the leaf spring rear end, if you don't put traction bars on it, it turns them into an S.
Yes.
It literally turns the spring into an S. And he learned that.
Yes. Which was another thing. One of your followers donated the money to buy me the traction bars because they were telling me
Oh,
about it.
that's right. Old school twisted.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I don't know if he's on tonight or not, but yeah.
He is,
and thank you, old school. That was awesome.
It was. They're amazing. They're the nicest part of the car on the other side. They look great. Some headers I found in the barn. They're just 1 5/8 headers. They're small, kind of too small in reality, but
they work.
They work fine. Built an exhaust on it. It's just a straight dual exhaust and with no X pipe, 2 Dynamax
What rear end gear did you put it?
373s.
373.
A Yukon that I found at a swap meet for like $150.
So he would go to the Pontiac Nationals and he would scout the swap
No,
meet
this was
over
at the
there.
Good Guy show.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I went to the Good Guy show.
Oh, that's
Someone
right. He
had
went
it.
down there with his nephew or
My
cousin.
cousin.
Yeah. Not nephew, cousin.
And I found that, toted that back. So we got all those in the car. What else did I do? I had my so Summit was throwing away a bunch of demo things, like literally just throwing them away. And my dad came home with some. One of them was a old school Summit. Summit used to have their ignition boxes made by MSD, and this was one of them. And so I ended up with a Summit ignition box. I forget what they call it, but it's an old school one to control the timing. It's a HEI distributor with the conversion to MSD box.
Okay.
Doesn't have the
So he doesn't have a MSD distributor. He's got a factory distributor.
Yep, with the was it low resistance bushing and high resistance bushing?
High resistance, yep.
With the high resistance bushing.
Or no, it is low. You're right. Low resistance. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
low.
It's an HEI distributor, but it doesn't
Yep.
have the coil on the top of the cap anymore. It's
No.
got a cap adapt on it, on the firewall.
What was it? I got those valve covers. I don't know where I found those. Like the first generation DCI cast valve covers, they're super tall and huge, and they look really cool because they're old school. I found those.
We've upgraded those a couple of times through the years.
Yeah. What else? I conjured a tachometer off of Don. I mean, in reality, yeah, put it together with
So
a bunch
what?
of
Your
factory
fuel? You
parts.
got your dad's fuel pump on it.
Yeah, no. So I had a fuel pump on it. I burned it up one night. Left me stranded on the side. I get towed back to the shop. The dude on the way back was telling me maybe one day you could build a real race car with like a Monte Carlo or something. And then
Can you imagine saying that to a Pontiac guy?
Oh my lord! I had to just sit there and be quiet because I was getting my car towed. Then he handed me a card and said, "Well, if you ever need me again," the card said, "We haul junk cars." I was like, "Oh, thanks."
So the guy was kind of a prick.
Philip says, "Conjured, swindled, same thing." Yeah, I got it all from Don. So then I have a Holly Black Series pump in it. The factory tank, which I might replace because it's kind of rough in there. I have to take.
That's why his fuel pump burned up, because what's happened is the inside of the tank's scaling.
Yeah.
And it keeps plugging up the damn screen and the fuel filler. And when it does, it really puts a strain on the fuel pump. And we've seen that on the chassis dyno, remember? We found that on the chassis dyno.
Oh yeah, I remember I was plugging like the car. We'd be hammered down the car, hit 4,500 RPM, and just nose over.
It would not make any more power.
Nope. And literally, like you could hear the car like nose over, and it was.
Well, it didn't quite do that, but it went.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was running out of fuel.
That also happened when I had the mechanical pump on it the first time around. It was running out of fuel in the street, but I got a good fuel in it. It keeps clogging the filters. I need to get me a new fuel tank, but I had the factory one welded up onto it, so it has a sump in the bottom of it. So when the car leaves, it all rushes towards the back and into the sump.
Because if you don't, with the factory pickup, the fuel runs away from the pickup.
Yes, and that's a kind of a pain to turn to AM get to a thing. It's easier to just put a sump on it, weld it in there, and put a line on it.
What a sump is that it goes on the back of the tank, on the bottom of the tank.
Yes.
At the lowest point, and all the fuel rushes to the back of the tank.
Preferably right in the center.
Right.
And line for fuel line. It's got, I mean, it's really built nice. I forget what other things we did to it.
I don't know. I mean, you've got a pretty cool race car, or well, not race car, but pretty cool street car that you race.
I remember, so I redid the engine bay. I sanded it down, painted all black, so it looks nice there. When you open the hood, it looks pretty. It doesn't look like the outside of the car.
I told him, you know what, leave the outside ugly. The interior and the underhood and underneath the car look brand new, and leave the outside to look like it does. Because it's very unassuming. And
it gets there's old dudes that get so mad over that car when I tell them I'm not going to paint it. They get so mad at me.
Well, because of Trans Am, and everybody thinks them things should all be black.
Yep. And, what was it? When I first raced the car, I noticed whenever I would leave the line in the old factory seats, which were held in by one bolt because the rest of them were destroyed or rusted out, it was held in by one bolt, and the things were so flimsy that when I would leave the line, the seatbelt was weird in that car. When I'd leave the line, it would tighten up around my neck and wouldn't release when I let off, so I'd be choking myself out in this car. And so I got new seats for it, some good, I forget what brand, like Pro Car seats or something like that, for, again, Christmas, because my family loves me.
You're lucky.
And I got it all together, and so we dynoed it, finally. The car, according to the dyno, only made 250 horsepower at the rear tire.
Was it 250 or 270?
Something like that, low,
Yeah,
according to the dyno.
Right.
Although, according to the dyno as well, the car made 400
It made killer torque.
It made 465 foot-pounds or something like that.
Something crazy. Yeah.
It made 465 foot-pounds of torque.
And torque is what moves mass.
At the rear tire at like 2,300 RPM. Low. Super low. It was impressive. That 30-degree valve job helped out a lot.
Yep. So, you know what? We always talk about horsepower and how all these other places tell you how much horsepower these engines are making, and the cars go out and run like maybe 1270s, 1280s. Some of them might run low 12s, I don't know, but they're saying that their dyno shows 570 or 600 horsepower. So I'm going to let Luke finish.
We took the car to the track. The first time down the track, the car ran. Okay, first rip I did, it ran a 13 something because I blew the tires off at the starting line. Next pass it ran, it went straight as the arrow, ran at 1270 at 106. Like 1271, 1272 at 106. Fastest pass I've ever made in my life. That car was a rocket ship.
This is through exhaust DOT tires.
Yeah, these are street. I have them on the car now. They're my everyday tires on those things.
Yep.
Like I said, small header through the exhaust. Like he said, the DOT tires, 1270. That was when I broke the rear leaf springs. And then next year I came back with traction bars, good leaf springs, everything set up right. I have the factory air shocks in that thing and it still hooks. Like blown out air shocks that barely work.
Right?
I need to get some QE1s for it bad.
He needs some good shocks.
But the car hooks still, and I leave the line at $2,000, shift it at $5,000, and I'm going to the traps at 5,800 RPM, and the fastest I ran was like a 1252, 1253 at 107, or maybe 108, something like that.
You're getting close to 108, 109 mile an hour.
Yeah. The car can chooch into the 11s if we work with it enough, at least low 12s at the very least.
408 cubic inches, pump gas friendly, 9-to-1 compression, factory iron heads, small tube header.
And they're not even ported crazy. They're just a Rammer 4 port, and we just made it round. It's not even insane porting.
No, it's not one of our street strip ports. All it is like a performance street port.
Yeah.
Cam's not that radical. We're talking 236, 242, 50, which in our world, that's not radical. Maybe in some people's world, that sounds like, oh my God, that's crazy high, but it ain't. And the gear's a 373. He's got like a 3400 or 3200 stall converter in the car.
Yep.
He can drive this car to the track.
Yes.
You don't have to trailer it. You can drive it to the track. It runs on 93 octane fuel. Probably could run on 91 octane fuel, no problem.
To drive on the street, I probably could. When I'm at the track, I'll run on 93, but
Yeah.
around on the street, I probably could put 91 in and be fine.
And he's still learning how to drive the car, and although he's doing really, really well. I'm not saying anything bad about him, but he's still learning how to drive the car because it takes a little bit to learn your combo.
Yep.
And the car still has a lot of room yet. So he's running 1250s, 108, 109 mile an hour through the exhaust, DOT tire.
And it's a T-top car, too.
And it's a T-top car. No roll bar in right now.
Full interior, minus the carpet. I mean, the rear seat's still in it, everything's still in it, dash is still in it, full interior car.
He did pick up a air cleaner or air cleaner and a scoop from my buddy Dave DeCello from Pro Touring.
That was an expensive shaker.
It is expensive, but you know what? You needed it.
It's not what I run on the track.
You know what? You get what you pay for.
Yep. It's very nice. It's very, very nice.
He does a real good job with those. So if you need a shaker that's going to fit under your Trans Am hood with a high-rise intake manifold, reach out to Pro Touring.
Oh yeah, we forgot to say that. Actually, we also, when we dyed it, we figured out it really likes a 1-inch spacer underneath it, flipped the wrong way upside down.
One of the super suckers, but upside down.
Yeah. Connecting.
Okay. That was crazy.
Right at the very end.
But it did to my door too.
Look at that.
So look at.
It left a nice mark.
Yeah. So that sucks. I got it on a suction cup thingy, and it fell off the door. So. All right, guys. Hey, you know what? It was fun hanging out with my nephew tonight. It was fun hanging out with you guys too. So we will see you guys next week. And Philip, I got your message about Jason's birthday present, and I did not forget about you. So, oh wait a minute. So, Dakota, hey, can you read a question for you, Ollie?
If we can find it. So.
I don't know how you find it.
So his question is, would the wide lobe separation angle bleed the compression off and the intake valve closes at 48 degrees?
If you run a wide lobe separation, it does help with like bleeding off cylinder pressure down low. But the problem is, I take that back. So what it does is the dynamics of a wide lobe separation kind of bleeds off vacuum, or not vacuum, but power band. And a tight lobe separation is very peaky, so it generates a lot of torque and it peaks sooner than a wide lobe separation. So I don't care for a wide lobe separation because of that, and that's why we run tight lobe separations, typically around I like between 106 and 110. That's what we typically run, and that will bleed off cylinder pressure so that you can run the higher compression and not detonate when you're driving on the street. Now, whenever you're racing it and it's in its environment, then the tighter lobe separation is going to generate more cylinder pressure because the valves are staying closed longer, and you will experience detonation. So I know that's pretty vague in a brief description, but that's basically how it works.
Yeah.
So we got any other questions? Go ahead and scroll through there and see what you find.
What do we got? Lobe separation. PT Cruiser, something about it.
That's Phil third. Might be Wolf.
So Duff's Monkey says he seems to know more than your son. Talking about me.
Don't say that.
You've learned. Something about I've learned. Oh, you've learned me good.
I learned good.
And back to Philip talking about. Someone asked about. Some Aaron, I'm gonna absolutely butcher the rest of it. Aaron Stotzenberg. How much does it cost to replace spark plugs? Depends on what it's on. Would wide Dakota also asked would wide lobe separation angle help with detonation? No,
No.
no.
Well, it kind of does. Be over the broad power band. It does kind of help.
And it's just back to the same old thing. So that's it, I think.
Okay.
It's going to be about 11.5 to 1.
So 11.5 to 1, and his what was his cam specs? He shared them with us.
236, 244, 242, but with a 114.
Yeah, with a 114. Yeah, that's a lot of compression. I mean, with a 114, you'd be,
It's aluminum head action.
Yeah, he should be okay. You know what? I did a video on a customer's we did that he had that camshaft in his, he thought it was a 461, it ended up being a 434. Whoever built the engine didn't even know that had a 4-inch stroke instead of a 4 1/4. I don't know how that can happen, but at any rate, they used that Butler camshaft in it, and he was not happy with it. The car didn't perform well. I think it ran like 1320s or something, and had aluminum. It did have it. It had metal rods on it. So anyhow, compression at about 10.5 to 1. We put a bigger camshaft in with a tighter lobe separator.
4cc chambers, I think.
Yeah, so a 74 cc. I mean, he's going to be around 11.5 to 11, depending on how far the piston's in. And that's stuff you can't assume. You got to check.
Philip said we're losing you. Yeah, we know. It keeps shutting off on us.
All right, guys. Well, hey, it was fun hanging out with everybody tonight. We're going to sign off, and thanks again for coming hanging out. And please share so that we can get our YouTube channel growing. And we wanted to get up to 10,000 members this year, but I don't think we're going to make that. I think we're only around 6,000. But if you guys share and help out, we can get there. And you're welcome.
See you guys.